But hello everyone, my name is Ella Julius and welcome to EthiVegan. Now, Eleanor has, is it Ella? I've been doing a 4-day raw vegan course here at Sayuri's here in Bali, Ubud. And it's been absolutely amazing. I feel as if my mind has moved from one level suddenly to another. And you've been vegan for so many years, haven't you?
For 10 now.
10 years.
Over 10.
And you're a naturopath and you've been doing stuff and how do you find it?
It's a journey, yeah? I'm talking to you?
Yeah.
I'm talking to you.
You can talk to camera as well?
It's a journey. It's nothing that's ever static. So what I thought 10 years ago, the way I thought you had to eat or you had to not eat or what you should eat or what not, etc. And that changes so much, yeah? It changes over time, it changes depending on where you are, depends on everything. I don't know, for every phase in your life also, yeah, it's different. And so, I don't know, my big question is always, what's my intention? Is my intention to raise children? Is my intention to win a marathon? Is my intention to be a kinder person? Is my intention to do animal welfare? And that is going to play the most important role in how I eat.
But there's also a spiritual journey, because obviously you must have started somewhere to come to this point, and then now you're doing all this sort of training for people.
It started with yoga, yeah? I went to a yoga class, Jivamukti yoga class, with Sharon Gannon. I don't know if you know Jivamukti.
No.
Jivamukti, yes, yoga class, and they, the founders are very vegan activists. And so in every yoga class they question it. They say, well, how can you do yoga and how can you want to be a kinder person but eat meat? And I don't know, and through that yoga journey it just suddenly became so clear to me, yeah, that the way we eat is exactly how we tread in this world. Yeah? And they were very clear about it, and that's the first time I'd ever heard the word vegan, to be honest. I knew vegetarian, but I had no idea that there were vegans. And so that's how I came, through yoga. And then just through trial and error, really. You try, you eat things that taste terrible, you eat things that taste great, and then I just realized how much better I felt also. And that changed everything.
But how's it affected your body? How did it affect your body?
How did it affect my body? I was doing a lot of endurance sports at the time, and it's also been a journey. So I've done it all, yeah? I've had the B12 deficiencies, I've not been eating enough, I ate too much, I've tried it all out, and then over time I just know what's good for me and what I need to eat, and that's always going to be different for everyone. Everyone is different. So there's no one size fits all, eat soy, don't eat soy, eat raw, don't eat raw. Everyone has to find it out for themselves.
So how did you become a vegan chef trainer?
Oh, that's, yeah.
How did you get here? Because obviously the yoga started and then then it's having to move from a meat-based diet to a plant-based vegan diet.
Yes, nowhere on the way did I think, okay, I want to become a raw chef. That didn't sort of happen. I was at a yoga teacher training in Thailand, and there was this incredible buffet. Incredible. For me, raw food was salads and smoothies. Raw food was, for me, quick food. I don't have time. I had a job at the time. I was doing sports, so I didn't have time to spend 8 hours in the kitchen all day. And so the idea of putting all my food into a blender, pressing the button, was very appealing. And so that was my idea of raw food. And then I get to this training, and there's this buffet. Raw cheesecake, raw lasagna, raw everything. And I'm thinking, what is this? I want to know what this is. And Sayuri, who is this incredible Japanese magician in the kitchen, was training the kitchen of this vegan retreat. And she was there, and I talked to her and I said, I want to understand what this food is. This is amazing. And she said, yeah, come to Bali, come and learn.
As you do.
And so I said, okay, I'll come to Bali and I'll come and learn. I have to know. And so I took the training, just like you are today in this in the course. I took this. It was a 4-week raw chef training at the time. It's like the yoga. It's like the yoga teacher training of food. That's these raw chef training. And I took the training and said, this is amazing, I love it. Because as a naturopath, when you're treating sick people, it sounds quite terrible, but they come to you and they say, oh, I'm sick, I'm overweight, I'm happy, I have allergies, whatever, you have to fix me. And that's very difficult. And I also, it's a lot of responsibility and it's quite tiring, and I didn't want to do that. So I was a little disillusioned with my naturopathy, because I was thinking, I want to help people, but I can't do this fixing all the time. And she was just basically saying, I'm going to show you how. If you've made the decision already, you want to have a better life and you want to feel better and be amazing, then come to me and I'll show you how. And I said, that's cool, I want to help you, I want to assist. And just I generally just wanted to be around her. And so I assisted her on her next training, and then just things evolved from there. And then she moved on, opened her first cafe, and I took over the training at the time, and then I suddenly took over that training. And so I was teaching raw chefs. And then I went to work for an American company, and he's also doing some training culinary raw chefs at the time, fine dining, and I said, yeah, I want to learn how to do that too. And so everything I want to learn, that's my way of learning, is being then the teacher, and somehow it's my way of learning. Yeah. And I love this, working with students who are passionate about something and who want to learn it. That's way more fun than trying to heal and fix people, for me.
Now for me, I began cooking, and when I first started doing my recipe blog 5 years ago, I thought I was a really good cook. And then suddenly I started doing this, having to adapt and learn to adapt without using eggs, butter, honey, and meat, and using alternative products. So I started my blog, and this book came out, and this came out earlier this year, January 2018. But today, well, this week, suddenly you've absolutely blown my mind on raw food, and suddenly I feel as if I've got to one level, and now you've suddenly upped the game, and it's like I need to learn more. So I mean, how does life work? For me, I feel as if I don't know enough.
For me, raw food is not. So often we can see it as a goal, or some like to say that raw food is more, is better, or higher frequency, or higher vibrational. For me, raw food is a tool. So in my food chef belt, I need to have a lot of tools. And so one tool is vegan cooking or vegan baking. That is a whole new world. Yeah? If I don't have egg and I don't have gluten, wow. So that's already, you can spend a life just investigating that. And then vegan, no meat, no egg, that's also a whole thing. No dairy, the whole idea of no dairy is again another. But so you can investigate that. And then raw food means, okay, I'm not cooking, and that's just another tool in my belt. And so I focused on raw, but it's also because I love having a clean kitchen. I don't like stoves and heat, and so I don't like spending a lot of time. And so raw food is great, because a lot of it's fresh, a lot of it's the blender, and making extreme high versions of salads, yeah, basically. But we're making burgers today, yeah, we made a burger, and we're still using all these flavors and all these ingredients, and it's filling, and I don't have to cook. Yes, so raw is just one extra level, one more thing to learn.
But but you still have cooked food, do you?
Oh yes.
But I think the other thing is, in our repertoire, when I moved from a meat-based, plant-based diet to a vegan diet, and I still have some raw food. Now I have some raw food, but I don't know as much as I want to learn about it, or know about it, and I feel that there's a lot to learn. Lots.
Yes.
There's absolutely tons to learn.
Yes.
And I feel as if, where am I going to learn that? How am I going to learn that? It's practice. What do you have to do?
I think the most important is also to know...
What are three things you can do?
First of all, know what grows where I live.
Right.
That's key. Because I can take techniques that I learned here in Bali, go back home, and make, coconut yogurt and banana something, cashew cheesecake and so and so. But these things don't grow where I live. So the first thing, the most important for it to be a happy diet, yeah, is to know, okay, what's growing where I live. Now if I'm in December in the UK, chances are nothing's growing apart from cabbage. Yeah? So, but then I can make great kimchi, great sauerkraut. Okay, so I can start fermenting and I can use these techniques. And then in summer, I'm going to have all the berries, And so great, let's make berry cakes, let's make berry smoothies and berry everything. And so first the ingredient, then the technique. Not first the recipe, and then go to Whole Foods and I'll go and try and find all these products that have been imported. I'm first going to look for the ingredients.
So the ingredients are seasonal and local?
Local, as much as possible, yes. And if possible, wild. Yeah, if I can go into the forest, I don't know, if you've gone to, in the summer, and you've picked blackberries off the side of the road, yeah? Who's done that? Great, take a big Tupperware, go and pick tons of them, and then keep them in your freezer, and then you'll have smoothies, cheesecakes, all these things with these wild blackberries. Amazing, way better than anything you would import from somewhere else, yeah? So first the ingredient.
Okay, and the second thing?
Yeah, just have a few good recipes.
In your back pocket?
Yeah, a few real good smoothies, I feel, yeah? I could eat this one great smoothie here. I've been having it almost every morning for a year.
What's that?
It's called Ecstatic. It has, it's nothing really exciting, yeah? But it's just this perfectly balanced smoothie that's really good for me. And that's my breakfast. I mean, others have toast and marmalade for breakfast. Yeah? I have that same smoothie for breakfast. So you don't always need to vary too much. But with that good recipe in my pocket, and that's always a winner. And then it's easy, because if I'm having to open a lot of complicated things and learn new things, that puts me off often, yeah? And then I have to go back to my comfort food. But if I have a good few recipes, I saw that beautiful pumpkin, what was that, pumpkin cake?
Pumpkin and orange cake.
Oh my God, yes. So I want to make that. And if I know how that works, and I know it's healthy, and I know it's good for me, I'll just make it.
Now the amazing thing here is, in Bali, I discovered smoothie bowls.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, absolutely wonderful. Because there's so many beautiful exotic fruits here. And I've been using soursop and mango and durian as well, and it's just and dragon fruit and all these amazing things. But actually, you can make smoothie bowls with just bananas.
Yeah.
So it's just really simple
apples,
stuff.
persimmons, pear smoothies, amazing. And in summer, yeah, figs, apricots, peaches, melon, all these things. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Smoothie bowls are amazing. For me, a smoothie is a meal. Yeah, my breakfast is a smoothie bowl always.
And the third thing, what's the third thing that you use?
What's the third thing? Have fun. Yeah? Try to get out of the idea that food has to be a certain way. Yeah?
And also a certain weight as well, because
yes.
Because obviously we get so het up. I mean, certainly with vegan baking is very much precision based.
Mm-hmm.
But with raw food,
you just have fun.
It's much more fun orientated, isn't it? You don't have to be so consistent with the weights. You say that.
Yes, we work much more with ratio, yeah? A handful of this and a handful of this, and just enough of this to make this sticky, so we just play, yeah? It's much more playful. I came from food suddenly was all about what it's not. It has to be gluten-free, sugar-free, what's all the frees, yeah? In France there's a whole movement about all these things that it's not. Soy-free, salt-free, whatever. I feel it should be more about what it is, and that's when we come back to those good ingredients. If I have these amazing blackberries, it's going to be blackberries in everything for 4 weeks, yeah, all the time. So I'm thinking more in a way of abundance, and not so much in all these terrible things. Because let's be honest, yeah, the food industry now is very sad, and a lot of things I really do not want on my plate. But it's a fear-based way of thinking, and I don't want to think of food that way. I want to think of food as amazing. So you're talking soursop and durian. Yes, I want all of that.
Yes. How can we move into more love-based consciousness with raw food?
Go and find people who produce food. Go and find farmers. I find that for me the most rewarding is going to fresh markets where I can see the farmers. So, and then suddenly this produce is not as amazing as what I find in the supermarket, yeah? I might just go home with 2 old rumpled parsnips, yeah? But they're cool, and I know the guy, his hands, they took them out of the earth that morning. Well, that's going to feed me so much more.
And also you're having that relationship, you're having that personal relationship with that person.
Yes, and that's love for me. Yeah? There was soil, there was a person actually taking it out and selling it, and I'm supporting something that is much closer to Gaia, yeah? Much closer to the earth than anything that went through airplanes and supermarkets.
Now the gut. How does the gut differ with raw food in compared comparisons to cooked food?
I think the gut loves alive food. So in our course we were talking about the light, yeah? The radiance or the aliveness in a food.
Because obviously there's photography, and you showed us some photography.
Yes.
That was absolutely amazing. I don't know if you've got it here,
Yes.
but which is called
Carillion photography.
Now, this is amazing thing with Carillion photography, the difference that you have. This is, I can't remember what it is.
It shows how much electrical current goes through a particular object, yeah? And so we've, someone's taken pictures of different foods. This is a cacao. This is a cacao media.
Can you see the amount of light going through it?
And everyone knows the magic of cacao. When we say cacao or chocolate, everyone's eyes light up in a room. And it's not just because, I don't know, we like chocolate before our period. Yeah, it's not that. There's something truly magical about cacao, and that's one way of showing.
And cacao ceremonies. Cacao ceremonies are so important as well.
Beautiful. And so we want to make, you were asking about, tell me again what you were asking about?
The gut.
The gut.
Yes. And Carillion photography as well.
Will show how alive something is, yeah? How much electrical current is going through something, and that is what our gut needs. If something's been processed and something's been changed, we see now more and more, doctors are understanding now that it was always a very long time, very difficult thing. Doctors were not understanding why. It wasn't a classical disease, and they weren't understanding why certain foods were creating inflammation in the gut. But the gut is a very, very sensitive organ, very sensitive. Our whole immune system goes through our gut, yeah? And so we were trying to find out, and all processed foods or transformed foods or overly cooked is the same, yeah? Overly cooked food. Now, if you've lightly steamed your broccoli from the farmer's market, that's all fine too. Raw, it doesn't have to be raw, yeah? But anything that's been transformed or comes out of a factory or whatever, our gut doesn't really like it very much. And so for me, it's more important to feed my gut well, so I think of that.
Now, fermentation is so important because you get the probiotics, don't you? I mean, how important is fermentation?
It's a very old tradition that went lost for a while in the traditional American diet, or what's it called, the standard American diet, I think it's called standard American diet. And there is no fermented food. Now, in any other culture, there is fermented food. The French cook with wine, the Thai fish sauce, sauerkraut, kimchi. All Asian cultures have something fermented. Even in India, where they say, no, we don't like fermented food, and they still have yogurt. And a lot of, so everyone, or in the Middle East, they have the sour milk. So everyone has something fermented to help our digestion, just in the American diet, not. And so when we think of who are the healthiest ones and who aren't, we see that those with the fermented foods are. And they just make foods more available to us, and they're alive, and it's a lot of probiotics, and it's fermented foods are quite wonderful. But they're coming back. In the culinary world now, so fermented foods are becoming a very interesting thing now. And everyone's going back to do-it-yourself preservation, wants to preserve foods and so on. So it's a new topic now, it's good.
So in the culinary world, where are you going? What's happening in your world? What's going to happen with you?
I think now these traditionally hippie ways of eating, vegan food, raw food, they were more either in spas, so for healing, cancer healing spas, or they were in this hippie world, yeah? And the culinary world was separate from that, and they were all the cream and macro and all these fancy fine dining were two complete separate worlds. And the fine dining world said, well, if I have it beautiful, I can't make it healthy. And the healthy food world was making all these weird brown mush foods which weren't looking very appealing. These two worlds are coming together. And if you look at restaurants like Noma in Copenhagen, they are going back to all these natural things. They are foraging, they are using fermentation, all these things. They're using dehydrators, they're using raw food, they're using all these things. And the used before hippie world, they're taking on these techniques from fine dining. So these two worlds are merging, and I think that you can now go out for a Michelin-star meal and still have healthy food. That's how I would see it develop.
So in terms of courses that you undertake, what do you do?
What I take or what I teach?
What do you teach?
Oh, I teach anything. Anything. I love teaching. We teach a lot about desserts at the moment. We teach about chocolate, how to make
based on
because
chocolate.
there has to be a way of, that's also where we're merging the finest chocolatier usually uses the worst chocolate, and the best chocolate makers, they don't have the techniques, and that world is also coming together. So we work with Elevated Cacao. It's a cacao chocolate maker here in the wood, and we do exactly that. We bring the best chocolate, the best cacao, and have a week of fun doing that kind of thing. And then we just do our raw food chef trainings. They're as much spiritual trainings as they are food trainings. Yeah? We learn to work in teams, we learn to communicate, we learn the energy of food, and then we just learn to make fun food at the same time.
Brilliant. I have really enjoyed this course, and I've really enjoyed having this conversation with you, Ella. So,
Thank you, me too.
so much. Thank you so much. I think that's all from me, and that's all from Ella. Thank you. Goodbye.
Bye.